This poem is called The Wizard. I brought my gifts to the wizard at the break of dawn, just as he had instructed me to. He was clothed in layers upon layers of robes and scarves, each colored crimson, black, and mahogany brown. He was so abundantly covered that the only parts of his body that were visible were his hands and face. His skin was a dark green, like what you'd find in a swamp. His eyes were bright yellow, piercing through me like a hunter's arrow. His hands were adorned with a myriad of rings. Each of his fingers seemed to contain several. The color of his skin was barely visible beneath the shiny, shimmering jewelry. First, I put before him my most valuable possession, a flawless 12-carat diamond. It had sat on my ring finger for years, but its precious weight had grown too much for me to bear, and so I had not worn it in quite some time. I had wrapped it in a cloth, and I now placed it at the wizard's feet. His own jewelry was so abundant that I failed to see how my own gift would be at all serviceable, but the wizard insisted that I present him with my most valuable possession, and alas, this was it. He picked it up, unwrapped the cloth, and swallowed the diamond whole without the slightest change in expression. For my second gift, I was to present the thing that I love most, the thing that instills me with life each and every day. And so I gave him my newborn child, who I currently had strapped to my back. I dared not look my baby in the eye, as I knew it would prevent me from doing what I needed to do. The wizard took my child in his arms. He caressed him for a moment and took another moment to look into his eyes. He remained expressionless. I then watched in horror as my baby turned to ash before my eyes, right in the hands of the wizard. He gathered all the ash in his palms before funneling it into his mouth. Lastly, I reached into my pocket and retrieved an eyeball. It was my own, as I had removed it from its socket, the left socket, the night before, since the wizard told me I must bring him a piece of myself. I handed the eyeball to the wizard. I anticipated that he would consume it as he did my previous two gifts, but to my surprise, he did not. He instead removed his own left eye and put mine in its place. He then beckoned me to come towards him, and so I did. As soon as I was within reach, he grabbed my head and placed his removed eye into my empty socket. I stood in front of him for what felt like an eternity, waiting for something to happen, but nothing did. Eventually, still without ever changing his expression, he turned around and began to walk away from me. I called out to him. I asked him if it would work, if the world would go back to the way it was supposed to be, or at the very least, if I would gain the tools or the means or the insight or the ability to make it so. I begged and pleaded for reassurance that now that I had done what he had asked me to do, that everything would be okay. He turned back around to face me once again, and for the first time, he spoke. Cover your right eye and face the world. What you will see staring back at you is the incontrovertible and inescapable fact that you are, and always have been, a fool. Then he turned around and vanished. I stared at the spot he disappeared from, dumbfounded. Then I covered my right eye and turned to face the horizon, and suddenly, I could see the whole world, everywhere, everything, everyone, all at the same time. It looked the exact same. Nothing had changed, and thanks to the wizard, I now knew that it was never going to. Thank you.